I'm with the pre-war cars with Stephen Archer, a well-known personality in the Aston Martin world, and we're standing in front of what he describes as perhaps the most important car here today. Tell us about it.
Well, reluctant to call out one car as the most important, because all of these cars are fantastic. This is the best lineup of team cars I've seen for many, many years. But this is an M20, and it's the car that came third at Le Mans in 1935, driven by Brackenbury and Martin, and third at Le Mans then, and winning the Rudge Whitworth Cup meant actually they were technically the winners of Le Mans that year. So this is a phenomenally successful car, and this is, to my mind, as important as the DBR1 that won Le Mans 59.
And you've driven it.
I have raced it many times all over the country. I've done the Goodwood Revival in this car and the Silverstone Classic, and it's always served me extremely well. So, and I think I've looked after this car quite well too. So we're good friends, me and this car. But this is LM18 here, also.
Let's walk down.
Which also featured in Le Mans 1935. I started racing this car in 1985, in fact, and it's a super balanced, well settled in team car. This one actually I did embarrass myself in. I put it on the front row of the grid of the Silverstone Classic in 1991 and took over from Nick Mason, who started the stint, and on the first lap I spun it.
Never mind.
We were talking the next day.
You must have been trying.
I was trying. The result was fine, absolutely fine. So no, it's a stunning car. It's owned by Chloe Mason, Nick's daughter now.
Well, we've had the embarrassing story. Any funny stories about racing these pre-war cars?
That's pretty funny, isn't it? Well, this one here, actually, I'll tell you this one. This LM17 I raced for many years as well, but I took my wife down to Le Mans in this on the road in '85 for the big reunion.
As you do, and as they used to.
Drove it on the road. Needless to say, no room for luggage whatsoever. So we had a very cosy trip down there, and we survived 5 days with no luggage. So
and you're still married, so it's fantastic.
We're still no. I think there's great bonding from adversity. So I'll take that definitely.
Right, let's move on down.
So
what
34
else?
car. This is from the TT 1934, but here is a sister car LM15. I drove that at Goodwood last year and the Silverstone Classic. Fantastically well put together car. Marvellous history, and it drives like a dream, absolute dream. But interesting, this one here, 14, another sister car, is the only one surviving with the drilled and lightened chassis. So this is also a special car. Look at this, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's spectacular.
When they drilled and lightened the chassis, did it make it flex? Is it not so?
No, it didn't make it flex, but it did lighten it, and because of it, they actually banned this car from the Tourist Trophy in 34. So,
but they are over-engineered in terms of strength.
No, there's no risk to it. No,
that's what I mean. The normal ones
no. Just as if you'd not been sporting at the time. So therefore, yeah, I know, yes, exactly. So that's how they view that. Going back a few years now to LM9, I've not raced this one, but look at it. It's absolutely presented perfectly. And now I have a particular affection for this car because I raced it from 1980 with my brother. My father and my mother also drove it a lot. And this car has got, as you can see, great patina, because this is how Inman Hunter, former apprentice at Feltham, rebuilt the car when he bought it post-war. So it's really got the character, and thank goodness no one's spoilt that. It is as close to off the circuit at Le Mans 1931 as you're going to get, and of course it's an ex-Brooklands car too, as driven by Mrs. Bill Wisdom and Mortimer Morris Goodall, the founder of the AMHF.
And Stephen Archer.
And Stephen Archer, but I'm a lesser mortal compared to those great people who raced this car.
Well, let's move on to LM4.
Moving on a little bit earlier now, LM4, also a veteran of Brooklands, as you can see, spectacularly rebuilt now, recently raced by Darren Turner, and it's a wonderful car. But I have to go back to the beginning here, if you like. LM1 here, the very first Aston to race at Le Mans.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're doing this in the wrong order, but
no. I think it's rather good actually in reverse. Yes. Well, why not? Yeah. So LM1, the first Aston to race at Le Mans, 1929. They actually had a few years break after that, but gave a good account of themselves. Of course, the LM naming of the car started with this one, so it was destined for Le Mans. So it was LM1, and then that carried on to LM23 in 1936. But this is it, based on the International, of course. Look how simple and light and pure this car is.
Look at the aerodynamic way that the
absolutely
wheel,
the aerodynamics there, the two tones which Sammy Davis, who raced it at Le Mans then, chose for the car, and of course the black badge, unique black badge on this car, which is also a hallmark of that.
We'll take a close look at the black badge now. Tell me about the black badge.
You should. Well, that was also a Sammy Davis hallmark for the car. It's very elegant, very distinctive, and for those who think it's just a bit of personalisation, it's not. It was significant. It's a standout car, and it still is today. So all of these cars here really form the basis for Aston Martin as a racing mark. This is what it's all about. Any Aston Martin you see today owes its presence to these cars.
I don't think I've seen a better lineup of pre-war cars.
Well, the line of pre-war cars is spectacular. I can't remember the last time I saw that. I'd have to go back a long time, if ever. But even for the...
But it's not just pre-war cars, is it? Just
it's not. Across. No, it's not. It's absolutely incredible. But to see all these team cars together, but also the DB24s, the 4s, the 5s, and then, of course, all this enthusiasm which has continued into the more modern cars.
But if you were to dissect an Aston Martin, even the modern ones, and you could pick out DNA, they would all have DNA of sport and history.
You can trace it back. You can absolutely trace it back to racing. It is all about the car being ultimately a track-worthy vehicle as well. So, the DB6, you could say it's a touring car of the late 60s, but it owed its existence to the DB4 and the GT, and they were racing cars of their day. They all have their ancestry in that. The modern cars were raced at Le Mans as well, so it's never stopped, thank goodness. And if they stop, they lose their DNA, and they lose also that edge of purity about the way they drive.
This is a very unfair question. To drive home today and to keep it for the rest of your life, which car would you steal?
It'd probably be LM20 actually, the team car at the end, LM20, because you can drive it anywhere. It's actually fast, and you can do an awful lot with it. So, and it's also in my blood. That car and that type of car is absolutely in my bloodstream. So, I just wear it. So I take that home all day long.
Terrific, Stephen. Thank you for this.
Absolute pleasure.
Your knowledge on these cars is superb.
No, that's good. Well, it's great to be here, and well done to Brooklands for hosting such a spectacular event. It's really impressive. Very happy to be here.